Oh, hey there, guys. Welcome to Commissioner's Corner. This is where you find out lots and lots of up-to-date things on the league, okay? For the 2017 season, we have a little complicated twist this year, okay? Complicated twist, like a little twist of lime that you love in your San Pellegrino because now you're a champion and you only sip from the lakes of Italy. Now, okay, keeper is very important this year. I'm going to go through a step-by-step process in Coach's Corner, okay? It's not Coach's Corner. It's Commissioner's Corner. I meant to say Commissioner if I said Coaches. Just a minor hiccup. No big deal. I'm just so drunk off of this beautiful, delicious water. One keeper this year. That is clear. We know this. Now, step by step, really easy instructions. Follow me here. And if you have any questions, complaints, we know to answer to the Director of League Conduct, or you can make a special request to the Special Advisor, aka Mackenzie Mummy. Okay? Now, it is a 2-year contract when you get a keeper. Not meaning, listen closely, you don't have to have him for 2 years after this. But you can have him up to 2 years, okay? You can. The player will then be on a 2-year contract. So as soon as you keep that player, 1 hour before the draft, they'll lock into place. You will keep that player. Once you do, you have him for the next season, guaranteed. Then you can have him for one more season. Totaling 3 seasons. The day you drafted him, first keeper, second keeper. Now, after that, they will go into a pool, back into the draft. So we're talking about 2019 draft here, but don't worry about that yet. So you have technically a 2-year contract. Now, you only need to keep the player twice. Like I said, you only get to keep the player twice. That is equal to 3 seasons. If traded in the amount of time that we've done this, okay? Let's say you trade him mid-year. You actually trade his rights as well, so he can only be kept the amount of years that you would have been able to keep him. I'll go through an example pretty shortly. I know, because this might be difficult. The drafted, now, the biggest key, and will throw a wrinkle into the keeper. Some of us assumed, aka Commissioner, how the keeper would go would be that you would actually just erase your first round pick this year and we would all draft as though it'd be a second round pick. So everyone keep a player and then we just go into the draft again. Now, there is a hiccup in that process and we're going to do things a little differently the way things are supposed to be. Okay? The way things are supposed to be is your keeper is the value in which you drafted him. Okay? The value in which you drafted him. Now, Coach's Corner just disappeared. That's so disappointing. Let's get it back on track, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get this party started. I don't know what's happening. All right. There we go. Yeah, we're back. We're back. Don't worry about it. Now, just some minor hiccups. This is technological stuff right at its best. Now, very important. Hopefully you just soaked all that in the meantime. Now, very important about this, okay? Let's just use an example. Commish, okay? He has Matt Ryan on his team. That's going to be his keeper this year. He drafted him in the 3rd round. Now, for this year's draft, he will now get his 3rd round pick taken away from him because technically he picked Matt Ryan. That will happen both years that you keep that player. Does that make sense? Yes, that makes sense, Commissioner. Okay, now, so I've kept Matt Ryan for the 2017 season. I can also keep him for the 2018 season. 2019, he would then go back into the draft pool just with all the other keepers that have happened. Now, in 2017, again, you will have to lose the draft pick in which you took Matt Ryan. AKA, I took him, actually, I said the 3rd round. I took him in the actual 7th round in 2016, which means I get my 7th round pick stripped from me this year, but I also get to keep my 1st round pick, which is glorious. So you guys all can develop, all right, what is the most value, correct? Now you have a player that is extreme value, but you drafted him 1st round. Now, do you want to get rid of your 1st round pick just to keep him? You may. Okay, you may. But depends on where you're at necessarily. If you may want to keep a solid player that you drafted, let's say Jay Ajayi, Okay, you drafted him 13th round last year. Well, that is a value pickup. You will lose your 13th round draft pick, but you can keep Jay Ajayi. These are just examples being thrown out here. You don't have to. These are just Kamish's corners values and some of his insights. Now, again, let's go through one minor stipulation. If traded, the other stuff is simple. The only thing that becomes a little bit complicated, let me take a sip of my delicious San Pellegrino. Pellegrino? I don't know. If traded, not only do you get Matt Ryan, but you also carry with it the keeper rights. That will be followed by the commish and also special advisor Mackenzie Mummy. We will keep track of this and we will maintain order. It's very easy. Again, you will have 1 year to keep one player at the beginning of the season, before the season starts, before the draft starts, and that player will hold that value. Now, you can change that player the next year, but again, that player is on a keeper cycle now. So anyone that picks them up, still on the keeper cycle. Now, we will have to let, if traded, right, you will have to let him go in 2019. So let's say mid-season, 2018, I trade my second-year keeper. I trade him. Now, if you get him, that does not mean you get to keep him in 2019. He is on the keeper cycle. Again, let's talk again. Keeper cycle. And since he is on that keeper cycle, then you will actually, like the original owner, you will have to put him back into the draft pool and then draft from scratch. Hopefully this makes sense to you. It seems fairly confusing now that I'm saying it out loud, but it is a simple process. I really hope you understand. Again, you have 2 years to keep a certain player, okay? So you have this year you put in for a keeper. You would then have to do the same for next year if you wanted the same or a different player. Once that player is kept by an owner, he is now in a draft cycle of 2 years or a keeper cycle of 2 years, and everyone has to follow that. Now, again, if there's any questions, the San Pellegrino is getting to me. Now, if there's any questions, again, talk to special advisor, director of league conduct, and if you really need to, contact me, and we'll figure it out. Signing off, Kamish.